Avino Perucci, I miss you. All right, good morning and welcome to this basketball feed on the Liberty TV radio. My name is Daffy Matthew. So you love to come to the Liberty World Sports. Let's set the ground running. There's not much time to waste time. Arsenal won yesterday, celebrated like they won the UEFA Champions League, but that is what celebrated anyway. First win this year, this calendar year, first clean sheet, I think first goal scored. I don't know, but then it's been bad. But then they've had 15 red cards under the manager, 5 this season already. Arteta, but somehow, it is not the most indisciplined team in the Arsenal story. So you're like, okay, they are very, very indisciplined, picking card here and there. But truth be told, Arsenal teams that have been worse. And then, the funny thing is, in previous generation of football, this Arsenal team will be seen as one of the most disciplined teams because some of the things that people pick red card for right now is not even, considered far back in the day. So you could look at this Arsenal team and say, okay, times have changed. But then there's one man who believes that this is not Arsenal's most indisciplined team. Arsenal do not have a discipline problem under Mikel Arteta, despite suffering 15 red cards under the Spaniard with Gabriel Martinelli dismissal at Wolves. His former striker, one-time record goal scorer, and right. And I'm going to read that story. I'm going to share it with you guys, and there's a whole lot for us to talk about. Mostly, okay. So somebody send me this on WhatsApp. And for those of you thinking, oh, you want to send me a message on WhatsApp, kindly know that the WhatsApp now is not the same thing as the phone number or the studio number. Okay, so it's 07025000069. Again, you want to hear it again, 07025000069. That's the number to call. Call on that number and we get in on the conversation. You can also send in your WhatsApp message on that same number and we get in on the groove easily. Yeah, that number is not the number to call in whenever you want to send a message across, because sometimes you're like, I want to call in, I want to send a message, but I don't want to call, I don't want my voice, I'm in the office, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, sorry, I'm a little bit distracted, I'm trying to set up something for the show. Okay, so unlocking the sometimes it's hard. All right, I finally got through. I finally link it up. Okay. They say that you shouldn't wear stockings that are tight overnight. That's what I heard recently. I don't know. And somebody will be like, oh, okay, where's that coming from? All right. So you can send in your WhatsApp message to 07025000069. The best way to do it is to just save it on your phone as Elevator TV radio studio number. That way, it's easy for you to call in. You want to call in on the show. It's also very easy for you to send in a WhatsApp message. And it is due to popular demand because people say, okay, that why the number is different. You call one for us to send in, to make a call, another one for us to send WhatsApp. Why are they not the same? Okay, so now they are one and the same. 07025000069. That's the number to call. If you are on Android, you can now download our mobile application. Just search for Elevated TV Radio on your Android. We're still working on the iOS. I didn't know that iOS is this difficult. I'm just discovering, but we will get there very soon. You're sending a message, you're sending anything, please, WhatsApp, please send to 07025000069. I have to say that a whole lot. But let's go to what I have to say about this Arsenal team and discipline. Well, if you're streaming on YouTube, thank you very much. It is Elevated TV Sports. If you're streaming on Facebook as well, thank you very much. And you're watching on Instagram, I appreciate that very, very, very much. And if you have any question around football, throw it up across Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and we would all discuss it, but myself and all the people that are following the show. Okay, there is no discipline issue at Arsenal according to Arad, despite the club suffering their 15th red card under Mikel Arteta in their win over Wolves, according to Arad. The Gunners move up to 5th in the Premier League table with a 1-0 win at the Millionaire thanks to centre-back Gabriel Martinelli's third goal of the current campaign. You know that Arsenal's top goal scorer this season is a player that hardly starts, Emilio Smith, with 9 goals in all competitions. But namesake Martinelli was shown a bizarre red card, the first of his professional career, for 2 bookable offenses in the same passage of play in the second half. And that word, in the same passage of play, it was making everybody complain. My sister said, this guy is a conspiracy against Arsenal. A lot of people be sending me messages as if I am the chairman of the Referees Association in the Premier League. In an astonishing 5 seconds, the 20-year-old tried to stop Wolves from taking a quick throw-in and pushed over Daniel Podence before hurrying back up the pitch in pursuit of Chiquino, who he also sent tumbling. And it's a tackle from behind, so we will discuss it. That's why I'm reading this. It means the Brazilian forward joined Magalhaes as well as midfielders Granit Saka and Thomas Partey in being sent off already in 2022, while taking the club's number of red cards since Arteta reign began in December 2009 to 15. That is 7 more than Southampton, okay, who are the next Premier League side on the list with 8 in the same frame, okay, in the same time frame. But ex-striker Rice, who scored 185 goals for the club, does not in any way, okay, does not in any way think that is a discipline problem, okay? Ask whether he is concerned about Arsenal's red card record under Arteta. Right to the Premier League production via the Metro after the game. Not really, especially when you look at this one, and you look at what Saka has done. Yeah, 15 sounds like a lot. Well, it is not a lot. But at some time, you look at them, and we are not talking about players that are flying in and doing silly challenges and stuff like that. Okay, this year was a natural reaction from him. He's gone to push him, and then the next one is fouled. It's not malicious stuff, so you don't have to get into all this talk about indiscipline and not discipline, all that stuff. But they are red cards, and hopefully it doesn't turn up the end of costing them a lot. Yeah, 15 is a lot, but I wouldn't say there is a disciplinary problem. I think that's what people would try and see, but there isn't. However, it has an excellent record. It was an excellent result for the Gunners, who took advantage of Manchester United and Tottenham slipping up earlier in the week while the previous day. Ragniak's men could only manage a draw at Burnley, while not London rivals Spurs suffered a shock defeat at home to Southampton. That was very, very surprising, because I was expecting that Spurs would just win that game stream roll and just keep their noses in front, but that didn't happen. Okay. And Wright insists his former side should prioritize results over performances to keep among the Champions League chasing pack. But as back to West Ham, who are 1 point ahead of Arsenal, having played 2 games more to claim 4th spot. Really? West Ham 4th spot? I don't see that happening. I don't think that's going to happen anyway. If West Ham is the only team in front of Arsenal, then Arsenal is going to be top 4. I don't. This is my opinion, all right. I'm not trying to rub anything in your noses, but I don't think that West Ham have what it takes to take it to the end of the season. We're going to see, but I don't think West Ham is going to run at Arsenal. Arsenal have the next game is against Brentford. After Brentford, they play Wolves at the Emirates, because Chelsea is playing in the World Club Championship. They beat Ojo Igalo and his team 1-0 the other day, and they're playing the final, so they would not be playing. Arsenal also does not play in any other competition but just the Premier League. I think that Arsenal is going to make the top 4. Yes, they have a very slim and narrow squad, but I think Arsenal is going to make the top 4. That's my own opinion anyway. Anything can happen. It's majorly significant because Arsenal are in a place where a lot of people didn't think they would be, right, Aaron? When the season started with the signings that Arsenal made, people were saying things like, he's a waste of money. Why have they spent so much money on him? And it's kind of got the team. when you consider how they started 3 losses at the bottom of the league, and then they started to get it going, and players started to find their feet, you will give them a lot of credit. Now they're getting into a situation where other teams are slipping up. Okay, they are starting to find a little bit of form. That was very, very good performance in respect of digging in and getting a result. Now all Arsenal need to do is continue what they are doing, nick a few more goals, and see if they can stay amongst it. Okay, there are people who are slipping up, and that's all you can do. Just win your games. If it is 1-0, then it's 1-0. If you go somewhere and you're playing against the teams around you, as long as you don't lose, you stay amongst it. And that's all Arsenal have to do now. But ask which club are favourite to secure the final Champions League spot. Write in reply. I'll say West Ham are favourite because West Ham are right there. I don't agree. West Ham, I don't agree at all. But I mean, I'm not respecting him. He's a legend. He's a club legend. He's a Premier League legend. He's England football. I don't know if he's England football legend anyway, but he's a great guy, and I've got respect for him, right? A whole lot. And I also thank him for speaking up during the little tournament saga and the way he came out at it, not minding whether people in England will be angry, but I like that. There's somebody sent me a message. Somebody's message. Let me read it. Hi, Daphne. Good morning. Yesterday, the whole talk about Ozari Gallo. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. The whole talk about Kozuma was over the top, and I don't think I agree with your position yesterday. I didn't have a position yesterday. I only asked questions. I didn't give my position. I wanted to let people speak, because sometimes you guys accuse me that I'm superimposing my position. So I wanted to let people speak. So I really didn't have a position, but I'm going to have a position. Obviously, you know me. I'm going to have my opinion. I'm going to have my take on it. But yesterday I didn't have a position on the matter. I just, wanted people to say their mind and let me hear. Like, I also want to hear your take on the red card given to Martinelli. I'm going to give my position before the end of the show anyway. But what do you think? Was that a red card? Was that conspiracy? Give me your own understanding of the rules and the understanding of the flow, the passage of play from the throw-in to the tackle on Chiquinho or whatever his name is, and then tell me what you think. If you were the referee, what would you have done? And call the 2 fouls, because those 2 are fouls anyway. Call the 2 fouls the way you see it and tell me what you would have done. And there is no right or wrong to this one, but I'm going to give my own opinion on it, because even in refereeing, some things like the goal that Arsenal scored, for instance, some of that referee will call it a foul. Okay, VR will call it a foul, but on the day it went Arsenal's way, and on the other side, that one didn't go Arsenal's way. But one of the things that I'm happy about for Arsenal yesterday was the fact that for 20 minutes they defended solidly. It's been a while that Arsenal defended that way, and for me too, I think that I don't know what Arteta was thinking when he brought in Eddie Nketiah. You have a player red carded. You've made your substitution. You removed Saka and you brought in Chambers, okay, to join the defense, meaning that going forward is almost dead in that game. Everybody is defending. And then you brought in Nketiah. Nketiah is not the kind of player that does hold up play. Even Saka and the rest of them have joined the defense. I thought that it should have brought in another midfielder, okay? And for somebody who worked with Pep Guardiola, for a while, I thought that the best thing to look at there was the midfielder who will be in the middle, holding up play a little bit, keeping the ball if they are passing. But that didn't happen. Thank God they won anyway. All 3 points. 3 points is very, very important in football. Nobody cares how you got the 3 points eventually. People just say, okay, you got 3 points, and that's fine. So let's keep it at that. But other than that, what do you think about the card that was given? And the World Cup is in November. England already have accommodation, a beach, a non-smoking, non-alcoholic beach secured for them in hot Qatar. Okay. And there are some things that you need to know. I will be at the World Cup anyway, so I'll be at the World Cup giving you sights and sounds and cultural things about Qatar. But let's qualify first. It will be sweeter if Nigeria qualify, because it will help my whatever it is that I'm doing right now. But having said that, I have plans to be at the World Cup and really go there and have fun. I want to do what people do when they go to the World Cup. I don't want to go through the stress of looking for ticket, going to watch match. Yes, I will watch matches, but I just want to have fun. It's been a while. I had that kind of trip, that kind of traveling. So I want to go to the World Cup and do that. I also saw the picture of the NFL president meeting with Diogo Gallo. If I say this to me, like Diogo Gallo is a guy, so he's never done wrong. Yeah, and he's restating his commitment to the Nigerian cause, and if he's invited, he will be available. I like the fact that he didn't force over the Al-Shabaab, you know, not letting him go to the Nations Cup. So there's so much maturity about Judo Igalo in the way he handles his business and everything around him. Most times, and I salute him for that. The way he went about it, I knew he was going to leave the club because we were chatting, and it was like, I'm packing my bag, I'm going to go to the airport now, I'm flying to Nigeria, we'll meet, and then the next day I go to Abuja, or come to Lagos, we'll meet, and then the next day he's going to Abuja, blah, blah, blah. And then quite a few minutes later, like an hour later, like his flight is 4 hours. It's 4 hours to his flight. And he said, my club are saying that I can't travel. Really? I said, so what happened? They've been stringing your allowances. And he was pissed. He was livid. You could see that he was livid. Solomon Okotubo Tete, Bredo, how you doing? And he was livid. But I kind of like let him understand that, look, when his club signed you, they signed a player that is no longer playing for the national team. Always remember that. And they are going to use that to their advantage. So just chill. Whatever it is you want to do, but chill. Don't create problems. Don't give yourself. Your career is towards the end already. Don't do something that will give you a bad name. But then somehow Halila came out of nowhere and he went to play in the World Club Championship. That's Judo Delgado. Nigeria have had like Kanwanko, Finidi George, Mikel Obi, Junior Ajayi for Alali against Bayern Munich, Judo Delgado are the players that have played in the World Club Championship. I don't know if Victor Moses didn't win Championship, so he didn't play in the World Club Championship. I don't remind me if there's any other one, but I think that these are the five Nigerian players that have played in the World Club Championship. And seems like Judo Delgado is the only one to have scored a goal in the World Club Championship. Anyhow you want to look at it, so that's a plus for him as well. So Al Shabab was a good journey, but then coming to Alila, I mean, when you move from one club to the biggest club, and it looks like they're going to win the league title, that's something you should be very, very proud and be very, very happy about. On YouTube, Jeff Bulus, he said, you guys are doing a great job. Thank you very much. Here's Patrick, he said, good morning, boss. Good morning to you. He said, red up Liverpool and suck. You know, when Liverpool wins a game, okay, I bet Liverpool to win last night, so it was a good bet. When Liverpool wins a game, the first name that comes to my mind is China Achebe. And then the chairman Lagos State Sports Commission, Uncle Shala Ekweku. And then my guys at Standard Chartered, okay? Odia, Dayo, and the rest of them. And then the next person that comes to mind is Izzy Patrick. I'm like, okay, this guy is going to show up on YouTube or to the next day and, give me a little job poking. Liverpool are the best team in the world. Liverpool would definitely be in the top four, qualify for Champions League next season. But some talk yesterday was about Liverpool now still being in the title race. And I'm wondering what title race are we talking about? The Nigerian Professional Football League, or which title are we talking about? The English Premier League, because as far as I'm concerned, the English Premier League is all done and dusted. And in the words of Yinka, it's done and dusted and unsorted. But I mean, a lot of people will not agree with me, like, what are you saying? This is just the match day so why are you saying? But that's what I think anyway. But as a Patrick, I know you have a different idea. Okay, and then there's also good news that Lookman, okay, is now going to play for Nigeria. Okay, that's a good news because everybody's been asking for him. He's a white player. He's got power play. Reminds me of a cut between Anichebe, the early days of Anichebe, and Yakubu Ayegbeni. Not 100% Yakubu Ayegbeni, not also Anichebe completely, but there's a bit of him that looks like Anichebe, and there's a bit of him that also reminds me of Yakata. I hope it doesn't go and miss an open setter like Yakubu Ayegbeni anyway. But if you understand what I'm saying. It's good that it's going to Ademola Lookman is going to be playing for Nigeria, even though he won the Under-20 World Cup in England in 2013. It would be nice to have him play for Nigeria, but then we should, like I was saying, I'm trying to get to him and intervene. And if I intervene, one of the things I'll tell him up front, guy, prepare your mind. In Nigeria, we don't treat people the way they treat people in England. With the own money, we are not organized. So you don't come and start acting all strange and funny. I know his grandfather is in Lagos Island, somewhere around that Lagos Island. I'm sure I'll go and have a sit down with him and say, talk to your grandson. If he's coming to play for Nigeria, I shouldn't be expecting that when he comes for Nigerian training, he's going to go to a facility that's like St. George's Park. We don't have that. We have a co-hotel where players Olosho, they gather and there could be temptations. So he should control his libido and his testosterone and everything. He should also know that in Nigeria, things are not always the way they seem. Things are different. But then we also go overboard sometimes. If you score goal and you play well, we also love you more than Valentine. So all of that should be told to him upfront, so that there's no how much I'm gonna pay you. We don't have that kind of situation. If you don't grow up in Warri, you won't understand this line, how much I'm gonna pay you. But let's leave that for another day. I'll explain that another day. Okay. Here's a Patrick saying, look, man, to represent Nigeria. What's your take? Again, my take on that one. Chooks Pascal said, welcome to the show, my people. Here's a Patrick saying, Chooks, my guy, been a while. Chooks said, quick one, a little bit. On the red card to Martinelli, this is the first time I'm seeing something like that. It's always the first time. 2 yellow cards in succession. The second foul couldn't have happened if the first was awarded. Okay. Son of Oba Beni, he said, good morning, boss. The Super Eagles have video analysts. Okay, analysts. All right. Okay, it's analysis. Yes, they used to have, but lately at the Cameroon, at the Nations Cup in Cameroon, we didn't have. And currently, I don't think we have. So they will get one, but I don't think we don't have right now. We don't have. I also don't have scouts at the last Nations Cup in Cameroon who was scouting the opposition. We're just shooting blind. We just felt like we were super good. We don't do reconnaissance. We're super good. After we beat Egypt, so we can beat anybody, and then we just went on like that. So that was a problem. We don't have a video analyst, but it's something that is needed. There's paucity of fund. There's not much money, so we're just distributing money the way we can. What I think, and if I say this now, people will say I'm hating on Yobo. But what I think that Yobo does not have any business in that place. They should remove Yobo and give his slot to a video analyst. Okay, I don't think that Yobo really have a business there. Salisu Yusuf, because he would be the one in charge of the China Eagles, I think it's got a job to do there. What's it called? Emmanuel Amunike is a very sound mind. He's a good coach. Another advantage that Emmanuel, and somebody else sent me a message. Hello, Idafe. Let me read that message now. Hello, Idafe. Emmanuel Amunike and Austin Eguavoen are working together. I agree that they played together in USA 94, but I've heard you many times say that the class of 94 are always fighting against each other. Do you think that there's going to be infighting among these two guys? And do you think that there's a problem? What are the possible things that could go wrong if there is infighting? And what are the possible advantage of the two of them working together well? You know those questions in Wire that year where they will say 1A, 1B, 1D, like that, and they say answer all of them. And I can't want to do this, but I will take it. I'm coming, Michael. Okay, Chooks, let me start with you. Chooks, Pascal, I say on the red card to Martinelli, this is the first time I'm saying something like that. Yes, there's always the first time. And let's not forget that football has evolved so much that the things we knew about football yesterday are no longer the things we know. I told my wife the other day that if I play football now, most of the things that people did to me that the referee did not pick, people will get red carded. Okay, because I was a fast runner, I was a dribbler. I played games where referee come to tell me that, don't you know that you're too young to be dribbling people that are older than you like this? I was on the ground, okay, written in pain. But these days, people's shadow leaning on you is foul. The game has changed a whole lot. So you would see some of these things and you'd be like, oh, why did it happen? But let's analyze that one on the merit of that. Because a lot of people have come out and say that the referee didn't know what he was doing. I think it was a good call. It was a professional call. So the foul, try to understand this, the progression of play, understand it. When the ball was thrown, there was advantage for Wolves. To call a foul and issue a yellow card and, play the foul there, would have seen the fans of Wolves, don't forget that the Wolves are playing at home, would have seen the fans of Wolves think that the referee just eliminated their advantage. And they didn't want that to happen. So the referee gave an advantage. Martinelli, who had committed a yellow card offense, first standing in front of the throwing and obstructing the throwing is already a yellow card offense, right? Because it's the same kind of yellow card you get for delay, time wasting. So that's a yellow card offense. To not put your hand on the player and push him down is even close to a red card, but that's a yellow card. Now, what you're asking is if the first yellow card foul was called, there would not have been opportunity for the second yellow card. What happened was that there was an advantage, so it was given. And we've seen times with that number, even in that same game, a player fouled an Arsenal player, I think it's Martinelli or Lucas Lacazette, that was fouled, and then the referee let the play go when Arsenal, the ball wasn't going anywhere, stopped the play, and came back and gave the yellow card to the Wolves player. So that's one. Now, what that happened, and it's something that you've also never seen in football before, that's why this one was kind of like strange, is that the same player who committed that foul, which is already recorded mentally as a yellow card offense, was the same player within the 5-second space that ran and tackled that player from behind. Now, the foul committed against Chiquinho, from behind without any sight of the ball was aggressive. So that's a yellow card offense again. So look at it from this way. First foul was not called because of the advantage. That same advantage that was given, the same player went and truncated the advantage illegally by, offending the player, not getting the ball, but doing it from behind. That's again another yellow card offense. My take here is that the referee was spot on. I cannot understand that Wolves does not have fans that will be on the show this morning to justify or defend their position. But think about it if this was a game between Arsenal and Chelsea. Arsenal fans would be crying, and Chelsea fans would also explain to you why that happened. So the smaller clubs always are at disadvantage in these cases. But I'm an Arsenal fan. It's a team that I support. But that far, from a footballer's perspective, that's a 2 yellow card offense. I think what was missing in the Arsenal team was leaders who could have, he also opened very, very quick anyway, but who could have called Martinelli not to charge in on Chiquinho the way he did. That would have kept him in the game because he was the hustle of the team. It was the hustle of the Arsenal team. It was the connecting rod between the defense and midfield. Not like it was a midfield player, but it was the one who was going and tracking back. Every time Wolves were attacking through the third side, the left side of Arsenal's defense, Tierney side, there was always Gabriel Martinelli there. And you know that Tierney also pumped forward a whole lot to help with crosses, help with attack. Once that happened, there was no Martinelli to defend. That was why the last 20 minutes of the game was all of a great defensive job. So as an Arsenal fan, I'm saying to you that was a justified red card. I don't think there is anything wrong. We can't even blame the referee. Blaming the referee would really, really be hitting it overboard. We'll be doing something that we shouldn't do. So good morning, Alabata. Please, inept in the knowledge of the CAF Super League, replacing the CAF Champions League and the CAF Confederations Cup. Can you please help with how everything would run and also the business side? Maybe a special YouTube video and an interview with a CAF executive would do. I'd appreciate it. I also enjoyed your show. Too bad you didn't mention your name, but let me try and see. Okay, that's Timothy Demo. Okay, we're using another number. So when you send in anything, please do what to tell us your name. Okay, so I've reached out to a few of the CAF executive members, and they told me I should wait. I don't want to give my own opinion on this. I want to have them on my show. And thanks to my trip to Cameroon, I was able to really exchange contact with a few top CAF people, but then they seem to be very, very busy. In Africa, everybody's very busy. So I want to give them some time, and then eventually I will get somebody to speak on that, because whatever I say here is my opinion. No matter how I read it, no matter how I explain it. But if somebody from CAF comes and says it, you would consider it an authority. And that's the thing that I want to always have here. Like I always tell people, I don't do breaking news. I wait and I get the right stories on all sides before I come out. So we'll talk about the financial implication of changing to the CAF Super League. We'll talk about the collapsing of the other ones and then see how it goes. Real Avino Perucci, for those of you who don't know that guy, it's the backbone of this radio station, that person there. If Martinelli knew he would get a yellow card, okay, from the first infringement, I am sure he wouldn't have made the second tackle. A bit harsh on him though. Yes, harsh is the word, but you see the thing about a foul is a referee does not tell you I'm going to give you a yellow card for this. There are certain rules that you already have explained to you. And that's why at the beginning of every season, every club have the referees come to explain the rules, reiterate it, because you have new players coming from different countries. So let's break it down to the rules first. Because when you break a rule, you look at what's the punishment for this rule. And then there is what we call, there are 18 laws of the game, right? 18 laws, but then they always say there is the 19th or written law, which is called the referee's discretion. So, and in today's game, where you also have the VAR, there is discretion. Like the goal that Arsenal scored, in some other cases, in some other games, that small touch of Lacazette's boot on the hand of the goalkeeper is enough for VAR to say there's a foul there and the goal will be cancelled. We've seen that happen before, right? But at the referee's discretion is to say, okay, then this infringement is not malicious from my own point of view. There's no malicious thing to it, and I'm going to change it. But I think that in today's rule of the game, especially if you go back to the AFCON, look at the foul committed by Alex Iwobi for the red card against Tunisia. Because it was the leg came from his blind side, you couldn't say it was malicious. It was the one in possession. Control was a little bit bad. The guy wanted to pocket pick him, and it was his landing foot. This is me analyzing football as a player. It was his landing foot. You have no control over it unless you want him to tumble over. Okay, and that would be like him diving. Okay, so it was his landing foot, and he landed on the man who was coming from his blind side. But when VAR reviewed it, VAR did not, and that's another thing that VAR needs to keep doing. They need to back up a little bit. You know, VAR is now beginning to act like Nigerian pastor. You know how Nigerian pastors read the Bible? They quote the Bible. Let me give you a very good example. They tell you the Bible might have a part 1 and part 2, right? Let me give you, go to Genesis chapter 15. After this things, it says, after this things, the Spirit of the Lord came to Abraham in a vision. Nigerian pastors will just quote that. The question is, what are these things, right? Also in Kings, you will see where the same scripture repeated itself, but this time not for Abraham, but for Solomon, where he said, saying that you have done these things, what would you want me to do for you? That was God speaking to Solomon. Nigerian pastor will not tell you these things that Solomon did. We just start from there, oh, Solomon found favor inside of God. No. So it's the same way that VAR is now working like Nigerian pastors. If they back up a little bit in that game, I'm sure Iwobi wouldn't have gotten a red card. I was talking that in the media tribune where we were at the work in Garua, but nobody listen. You hit on the woman, everybody does take this differently. So it's the same thing with this one. Once you obstruct play, the way he did, that's a yellow card offense. Now it is not up to the player to consciously. A referee is not supposed to tell you now that I am letting advantage go. That's a yellow card I'm going to come back and give to you. No, it's up to you to know that. Oh boy, that's a foul. What you did is to jump back into the midfield and allow the other players deal with that challenge. But for you to go again, that's too much excessive aggression. I'm sorry, yes, there's always going to be a first time. Just the same way there was no free transfer until a certain Belgian guy went to court and everybody thought it was stupid. Even players did not support it. Players turned against him. But then we now enjoy Bosman ruling. Players enjoy it big time, make big money from it. But then there's always a first time. By the rules of the game, the referee wasn't wrong. Harsh, yes, there are sometimes that things are harsh. I've had this talk about harsh. But one of those things that I always say to people is, if you play by the rules, if you live by the rules, the other day somebody was arrested for not having vehicle paper. And he was not giving an excuse that I'm not the only one, there are other people on the road. And I said to him, I said, Oga, you should have your driver's license and your papers. If they don't stop you, you show them and then you go. But that you're making an excuse that you're not the only one driving without vehicle papers is the stupidest thing I've ever had. So that's the way it is with that Gabriel Martinelli. But I don't understand how anybody will feel it is harsh. As an Arsenal fan, my heart was in my mouth because I really want Arsenal to make top 4. Remember, at the beginning of the season, I already predicted that they will make top 4. So whenever I see that chance trying to slip away, it hurts me. I am still pained by that. What's it called? That Everton loss and the draw against Burnley today, because those are games that Arsenal should win. The loss to Brentford at the beginning of the season, Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool, really don't bother me because the way I look at football from how it was when I was playing. Like, look, if this team is better than you, they should beat you. If you beat them, it's an upset. Okay, so all those ones. But then there are teams that Arsenal have dropped points against. I feel like the Manchester United game, for instance, they have no business losing that game or drawing that game, but then they lost. The Everton game, the Burnley game, those ones. So if Arsenal have a chance to pick up 3 points, I always think that they should. Not just because I'm an Arsenal fan, but because I'm still looking at my prediction. Talking further, somebody's complaining here. Sorry. Okay, son of Abba Benin. He said, good morning, boss. Do Super Eagles have video? And okay, I've touched base on that one. Shooks Pascal, I said, kindly educate me on this. I think I've done that already. At Eze Patrick, you are welcome, bro. Work don't tie rapper for this. So usually do a follow-up on the show on mobile app. Thank you very much. Jose Patrick, you say, bros, no go let him change mind. Bro. All right. He said, bros, I would advise them to leave Yobo as one of the backroom staff. It can grow up with them and have more experience without giving him chance. How can he have experience? Yes, I agree with you, but I think Yobo is going about it the wrong way. Yobo needs to go get a coaching badge. He doesn't have a coaching badge right now, and it's a hard line. And I kind of understand because I'm an example of that. I studied engineering in school, so I have no business being in media in the first place. But then my advantage is the fact that I played football, which is also the advantage that Yobo have. But in coaching, what it that means is Yobo might be able to coach in Nigeria, but it will never be chief coach if he doesn't have a badge because the rules say so. It will never be the head coach of a team. It will never be the senior manager of a team, and he cannot coach in other places. So let me give you a very good example, and I think the person might be listening to this show might not be happy. But another brother of my friend, red accountant, very brilliant, very, very brilliant accountant. But he didn't go and do ICANN and all those, certificate courses that they do. And he got a job immediately after youth service, and then you know how money can mess you up, okay? And then he was just going. At some point, people who were having those ICANN, ICT, whatever those certificate that you have will come, and then they get promoted, and he doesn't get promoted. And all of a sudden, what used to be big money begin to look like NEPA salary, okay, to him. And then it was no longer big money anymore. He was not complaining. He was not feeling frustrated. You know how the first time you get a job, the job is beautiful. It's the greatest thing you ever dream of. And then, a few years down the line, it becomes like slavery. We all went through that when we work for people. So now he can't get promotion. And then eventually they let him go, right? And from leaving that company, he can get job in other places again because the requirement now need all those certificate courses, and he doesn't have money to go do them. And the prices have even gone very high. So that's the kind of place where Yobo might find himself in the future. So he might need to take a detour. He could do it while in the national team setup. Thierry Henry was assistant coach at Belgium, and he was doing his badges. So he could do it now, go get his UEFA license. And what I thought he would have done is attach himself to Everton, was former captain of Everton, go get his badge and get this whole thing sorted. But then sometimes people don't do the needful. And tomorrow we'll start calling village people. One pastor will not start lying to you, telling you that it's village people that are after you, or it's the NFF that are not ready to help you. You know, all those kind of things that we normally do. So I just pray he gets it right. But I understand your point, sort of about Vini. I do understand your point on that one. Oludowale David, he said, greetings, Celebrity. Not convinced in this Ateta project. Well, Ateta is not working for you. Your conviction or no conviction is nobody's business. The truth of the matter is Ateta is the best thing that ever happened to Arsenal since Arsene Wenger left. If you recall, I said that anybody that's going to come coach Arsenal, it's going to take the fourth coach after Arsene Wenger to get the team going. And the best thing that's ever happened to Arsenal right now is Ateta. And let me explain that to you because a lot of people have raised that with me, and I said the same thing to them. Listen, Arsenal was a project that was destroyed by Wenger. And people give Wenger a lot of credit for a lot of things. Yes, he won the league title, he did unbeaten, he won 3 league titles, won a couple of FA Cup, fantastic. But you see, that's the thing he was employed to do. One other thing that Arsene Wenger did, Arsene Wenger was what Babangida was to Nigeria. Babangida was the guy that brought in SAP. Babangida was the guy that brought in Better Life for Radwell and his wife. Babangida was the guy that did a whole lot, changed the education system to 6334. Babangida did the freest and fairest election, but there was no president to it. So I don't know why we call it the freest and fairest election in the history of Nigeria, where there was no winner at the end of the day. But Babangida was also at the very root of 419 in Nigeria. Babangida was at the very root. I am saying this without fear of favor. I mean, these people might listen and watch this video and come after me, but as the truth, this is our country. Babangida was at the root of devaluation of our naira, which is the very, very bane of our economic problem today. But people call him the genius, the Maradona, the this. And when you interview him, he have a way of like dazzling you. It's Julius Caesar. It will dazzle you, and you think he's saying, making sense. I watched one interview the other day, and the interviewer was smiling as if I slapped this interviewer. This guy is at the heart, he's at the Hitler of Nigeria, right? That's who Arsene Wenger is. So look at Arsene Wenger. Came into Arsenal at the time when the team had structure, had a system. David was the vice chairman. They had directors. They had people who negotiate for players, transfer, the rest of them. Arsene Wenger came in, and when David left as the chairman of the club, Arsene Wenger destroyed everything. There was no football director. There was nothing. There was nobody negotiating transfer. Everything was on his table. If it was a black man that was doing that, everybody would say this man is Robert Mugabe or is Mobutu Sese Seko. He's a greedy person. Not because a white man, people, got sexy and start talking about him like he was doing good. He was doing good for the club. People said things like Arsene Wenger was making money for the club. Remember, Arsenal have never sold a player for 50 million in the club's history, even up to this very moment. Arsenal have never made massive profit above every other person, but he's making money for the club, making money for the club. Then the worst thing that was ever said, and they used that, Arsene Wenger was very good in the media, right? He had his people in the media and they manipulated stories. They said Arsene Wenger is the reason they moved to the Emirates. And every time I hear that, there is nothing that have disgusted me in football history. So I started watching football in 1986 up until now. That's something that disgusted me the most. Every time I hear people say that, I was like, how can people be this gullible? They're using their brain to negotiate for a loan. Like, I don't understand when people say that. But then, what's it called? Allegri was at Juventus when they moved from Stadio delle Alpi to the Arena. Nobody said that it was Allegri that built them a new stadium. When Simeone came to Atletico Madrid, they were just nowhere to be found. He raised them up, won the league title for them, won them two titles now, 2014 and last season. He also, and then they moved to this Wanda Metropolitan. Nobody gave him credit for that. When AVB was in Portugal, his team went entire season unbeaten and also moved to a new stadium. Nobody said that, moving to Estadio Dragão or the club, the coach that was with Sporting Lisbon when they moved, is it Sporting Lisbon or Portugal? When they moved to Sadio de Luz, was the coach that did it. Why is Arsene Wenger getting credit? They said that the loan, like the bank, the loan was taken on the condition that Arsene Wenger will stay on the job. And I sat back and like, whoever thinks and says such a stupid thing. So this loan was given because Wenger is the coach. If Wenger is not the coach, they won't give a loan. It's a club, a company, a business that is over 100 years old, that have assets and other things, cannot guarantee their loan. The only collateral they have is a coach who could go to sleep and die. But people bought that story. But let's talk about structure. There was no structure. So it was always very hard for Arsenal to sign players when they need to sign players. That's why if you look at most of Arsenal signing, they were always rejected players or last day of the transfer. Arsenal is still suffering that. Arsenal didn't keep, there was no football director, there was no longer a club chairman, a whole lot went wrong. So when Kroenke came and bought the club, he bought what he met. And he was so focused on building his franchises in America, like the 5.5 billion stadium, the one that was the Super Bowl, the LA Rams Stadium, which is the best and most expensive stadium in the world currently. And when people say the man doesn't have money, I just laugh. He's an American. He's investing in his environment. That's how Americans behave. America first before any other thing. Any true American would tell you that. And then again, he's not a Democrat. He's a Republican. That's just the way they think. People didn't look at all of that. But when Wenger left, Wenger inherited, don't forget, in 96 September, when Arsene Wenger came in, Wenger inherited a team that had been built upward. The defense line was good. One of the best goalkeepers in the world was keeping for Arsenal. The midfield going into attack was also good. They just signed in a season before Dennis Beckham, who was 1988 European Footballer of the Year, who was also a fantastic player. And Wright was scoring goals like goals were going out of fashion. So the team was progressing. When Wenger left Arsenal, Arsenal was dying. And then when Wenger came to Arsenal, Arsenal had only one team in front of them, Manchester United. Every other team was behind Arsenal. Now, but when Wenger left, Arsenal are falling so much so that there are like 4 teams ahead of them. There's still Manchester United ahead of them. There's Chelsea. There's now Manchester City. There is Leicester City who's found money. And people say they did spend money to win the title. I just laugh at them. They who's found money. And then there are a few other teams who are also spending money. Teams like Aston Villa, teams like Everton. So the competition is now higher. West Ham. The competition is now higher. Tottenham Hotspur have got to borrow money, try to build a stadium and do all those things. The competition was different. When Emery came in, they had communication problem, but was a good coach. But then there was no structure to support him, to back him. Arteta came in as well. That structure was not there. Thank God they brought in Edu. But try and remember, Edu does not have the astuteness of some of the top negotiators in Europe. His English is not that good. He's been in Brazil since he left Arsenal. It's not left much contact. If you have to interview somebody like Kessie, you understand what I'm saying. So these are guys who are not learning on the job. Okay, it's like me in radio in 2004 and me today on radio is different, right? So these guys are learning on the job. The kind of power that a David Dane can wield, who is the vice chairman of the EPL and also the vice chairman of the Premier League and also chairman of Arsenal, who have a contact among the G16, G24, G32 clubs of Europe, Edu doesn't have it. So if Arsenal is going to buy a player, coupled with the position that they are on the league table, they are negotiating from a point of weakness. When Arsene Wenger came to Arsenal, Arsenal was negotiating from the point of strength, and the league was not even this proliferated with foreign players and foreign coaches like this. So it's two different things. Arteta is building from the scratch. And one of the things he had to also deal with was the fact that some of the former players that were there before he came in needed to go. That's a club decision, not Arteta's decision. Well, sometimes when people talk about what happened with Ozil and Aubameyang, I just laugh. This is a club decision. You are going to take the bullet for the club, but it's a club decision. So you're going to be the bad guy. Why we just pretend like we don't do anything. You think a football club, think like, sometimes when we analyze this, think like a businessman. You have a player like Aubameyang as a company, and somebody shows up and say they want to sack, they want to let the player go, and you don't say anything. Who does that kind of investment? There's no investor that does that. So you have to understand how business works and how businessmen take their decision. So all of those things were decisions that were taken. First of what Arsenal wants to do is let's cut down expenses. So you look at the people that they are targeting to kick out. That's the reason why they're not renewing Lacazette's salary. Let him play and spit fire like Shongo. Bring in the wind like Amadioha. They will not renew his contract. Because when you negotiate to renew his contract, you're either going to double his salary or add 50% to his salary. Arsenal wants to cut down salaries, come down to the barest minimum. Arsenal is spending £100 million. Thank God the government is had now. They've reduced it about 90-something million pounds every month on salaries. That's too much overhead. So they want to turn over the crew a little bit. That's why when they brought in Arteta, the idea was bringing players from the academy. It wasn't not surprising to you all of a sudden Petro, Saka, Gabriel Martinelli, these guys are now becoming regular in the team. He wanted to use Kessie, but that guy is as useless can be. And then, Midland Nice couldn't get going and all of that. So that's the situation he finds himself. In the position of Klopp and Liverpool, because Liverpool has also mentioned Klopp. Klopp had met players at Liverpool that could be sold. And there was a time where not too many clubs were selling players, but the players at Liverpool could be sold. And then the structure supporting Liverpool were people who could negotiate good deals. They were good negotiators that Arsenal doesn't have right now. Okay, Arsenal only have Arteta. Don't forget that when Ivan Gazin is left, his entire team, the Sainelli and the rest of them, also have to leave. And that's Miscarriage, Sainelli, Ivan Gazidis, all these guys tied up some contracts that were very, very ridiculous. So all of this is what Arsenal is expunging gradually while they are balancing the book. There was really no plan to sign any player in this January. The plan for this January is purge the team of the high earners and then look forward to next season. Don't also sign a player now that you put on a big salary and then we don't qualify for Champions League that will give us money and then we'll struggle to pay. That's the plan. So if you're an Arsenal fan, you need to first understand this before you start blaming Arteta and putting Arteta to the rope. What Arteta is working with is first, manage our expenses, our overhead. We're not earning money like before. Manage our overhead and then come out with a formula that can take us to go play in the Champions League. If Arteta makes the Champions League this season, I'll consider him a lot more successful than Arsene Wenger. And this sounds ridiculous, right? This sounds crazy. When Arsene Wenger came to Arsenal, he had a blank check. It was carte blanche. He had only one competition, Manchester United. Remember, he never won the Premier League title back-to-back. As good as the squad he had. Every team's good generation have won them the Champions League. It's only Arsene Wenger and Arsenal that didn't do that. But let's not make it about Arsene Wenger. Just before you blame Arteta, always think about that. Eze Patrick, he says, son of Obama, I don't know if you are the real one, Sha, but one should be experienced to a level before working for the Super Eagles. That's one of the biggest jobs in Nigeria football, not a grooming field. I agree with you. Jean Gaffar, thank you very much for £4.49. I'm making money. He said, I'm happy we have Lookman now. I wasn't too impressed with our white players in the AFCON. Lookman also has a competent delivery. I'm very happy as well, and I think it's taking the right time for him to come. He should just come in, but he shouldn't come with the expectation that he's going to be pampered and he's going to be loved by all. He should know that in Nigeria, we love you 1 minute and we criticize you to the death. Go and ask Maduka Okoye, he will tell you, okay? Jeff Emelaba, he said the player thought he could commit 2 offenses and get 1 yellow card only. Yes, but the assumption, they say, is the lowest level of knowledge. Johnny Gaffar, he said Raw held the foundation of how the back room should be. opposition scout, video analysis, player scout, which is Tunde. Now he has gone. We have gone back to the freestyle setup. It's a shame, serious shame and disgrace, like serious disgrace. But you know, people didn't take him serious. Nigerian journalists were all clamoring, "Oh, why is he earning $45,000?" People forget that from that money was paying all of this backroom staff. It wasn't the NFL that was paying them, but people forget all of that. It was paying them. It was taking care of their traveling expenses. And if you've ever done anything, I'm doing a film now. The budget of our traveling alone breaks my heart. Every time they call out the budget, because I'm a partner, so I see everything. Every time we call out the budget, the biggest expense, apart from buying of content, footage, right? The second biggest expense we're putting in this film that's making it go up to $1 million or $1.2 million is travel expense. But people don't consider all of that. And like I always said, poverty has been weaponized in Nigeria, so it makes us talk upside down. I mean, I don't blame anybody. It's what poverty can do. You know, when people have not traveled, have not spent their own money to travel, they make it look like, oh, some people will tell you, why is he not staying in Nigeria? For real? You put a coach in Nigeria, you're going to either need to bring his family here, or secondly, you need to employ a driver for him, you need to employ a cook for him, you need to choose what city he's going to stay at, and then you need to control, you need to be responsible for him traveling all around Nigeria. Somebody said, but Eguava is doing it. Eguava chooses to do it because he's Nigeria. He doesn't have another country to go to. That's just the truth. That man is different. When you employ people, you must put the condition for them to work very, very well. But let's move on. Jeff A. Malaba. No, I think we'll pass that. Ezra Patrick, he said we have talked about Arsenal too much today because they won against Wolves. Now, wow, but Wolves are beating a lot of people too. People ask questions, we have to talk about them. If you ask a question about Liverpool, won't we talk about Liverpool? Daddy Bayano JP said, nice job, big brother. Thank you very much for watching us on YouTube. Okay, let's go to Facebook. Solomon Okotubu Otete is say, I'm just joining now. Okay. Skido Okanga is joining from Obi Benue State. Or Saze or Sarogi. He said because Arsenal players lack discipline. No, that's not true. AK Uden say, it's a good morning, boss. Do you think Lookman will do well with the Eagles? Well, he has to adapt. You can't predict what I do well. From what I see him play at Leicester, he's a good player. He's a force. But then he needs a happy environment. It's the kind of player that's a bit emotional. Those kind of players need to know that one, they're loved by their coach, and secondly, they're loved by their teammates. There are players who don't care, okay? Who don't care whether you love them or you don't love them. They just know that I'm going into the field to play. As big as Cristiano Ronaldo does not thrive in a place where he's not loved. Cars _347 say live from Istanbul. How are you? How are you? And the country that is on 2 continents. Okay, so it depends. But Lookman does strike me. I mean, I've not had to talk to him and feel his pulse and get his psychology at close range. But it does strike me from observing him from afar like a player who would thrive with love. Okay, you don't love him, he doesn't give you his best. You love him, he gives you his best. So let's see what happens. Sometimes you just want players to be as professional as can be, but this generation is different, especially in this age and time where everybody have this talk of mental this, mental that, mental this. Even until the country came out and said that his team didn't play well because they were mentally wanting. Like when I hear these things, I'm like, imagine this was the conversation back in the day. But then as we round up, let's take up some of the rumors around the transfer window. Portugal forward Cristiano Ronaldo, 37, is planning a showdown talks with his agent about Manchester United future after becoming disillusioned with life back at Old Trafford. Okay. Just talked about it, didn't I? Okay. England midfielder Declan Rice. Talking about England, you know that England have already secured accommodation in Qatar where they will stay. I said it earlier, I just want to reiterate it again. England midfielder Declan Rice, a target for Chelsea and both Manchester United and City, has reiterated his ambition to win trophies and play. When they start talking like this, in other words, they're saying, I want to move. Okay, and play in the Champions League. But the 23-year-old reassured Western fans by describing speculation over his future as just noise. Okay, we shall see. Paul Pogba will have to make allowance for the final big contract of the 28-year-old Manchester United and France midfielder playing career if he wants to seal his dream transfer this summer. Chelsea £72 million goalkeeper Kepa Arrizabalaga, 27, could depart Stamford Bridge this summer with the Blues not planning to stand in the Spanish player's way if he wants to leave. Barcelona are winning the race to sign the highly rated AC Milan and Ivory Coast midfielder Frankie Kessie this summer. The 25 years old is also a target for Liverpool. Leave Leicester City have reduced their asking price for Yuri Tielemans, 24. After Arsenal asked, they don't agree, now they don't reduce the price. From 60 million to 25 million pounds, with Arsenal and Manchester United in the race to sign the Belgian midfielder this summer. He's 24 years old, so it's available. Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta has admitted qualifying for the Champions League this season could be crucial in tying that 20-year-old England winger Bukayo Saka, who has been linked with Liverpool to a new contract. Okay, Manchester United transfer target Manuel Akanji wants to double his wages as Borussia Dortmund has set and they've set an asking price for a 26 years old Swiss defender. Manchester United, you keep buying, but you keep playing the same way, bringing new coach, bringing new player, but still same of the same. Spain boss Luis Enrique, 51 years old, has emerged as a shock candidate for Manchester United and manager's job. Manchester United, I pity you people. This is I'm for 600 years old. Sorry, my Man United fan, but that's the way it looks like. Anyway, Leeds United hopes manager Marcelo Bielsa would extend his contract with them beyond the squatting man, beyond this summer. But Jason Match, Ernesto Valverde, and Carlos Corberán will be among the candidates to replace the Argentine if he leaves. Okay, so this club is a Latino-loving club. Spanish defender Cesar Azpilicueta wants to talk to Chelsea about his future, with the 32-year-old linked with a move to Barcelona when his contract expires in the summer. Fiorentina offered striker Dusan Vlahovic to Real Madrid in January before the 22-year-old Serbian international completed a move to Juventus. The Spanish club did not pursue a move because they planned to sign Paris Saint-Germain and French striker Kylian Mbappé, 23, on a free transfer in the summer. How does a 23-year-old highly talented speed star become free at the age of 23? It's not 29, it's not 30. Paris Saint-Germain, who's running your business? Who's running your contract? Something is not right. Juventus and Netherlands defender Matthias de Ligt, 22, is flattered by interest from Chelsea. That's so flatter, and then Barcelona. Okay, Barcelona want to sign budget defender and are also open to selling USA right back Sergio Dest, 21, in order to help fund a move for Borussia Dortmund and Norway striker Erling Braut Haaland, 21-year-old. Tottenham's recruitment supremo Fabio Kessie is planning to focus much of his transfer strategy on young upcoming talent and those on dwindling contracts, with 18-year-old French midfielder Mamadou Koulibaly, who is at Monaco, being considered as a priority. Bayern Munich and Poland striker Robert Lewandowski want to move to Real Madrid, but the 33-year-old could see that scuppered if the Spanish side signed Dortmund Haaland. Haaland is not going to Madrid, so people should forget about it. Former Manchester United and Arsenal forward Alexis Sanchez, 33, is said to be offered a new deal at Inter Milan, but the Chilean will have to take a huge wage cut. Arsenal have completed paperwork for £7.5 million signing of 27-year-old American goalkeeper Matt Turner from New England Revolution. England manager Gareth Southgate is considering calling up Aston Villa midfielder Jacob Ramsey, 22, to his squad for the friendlies against Switzerland and Ivory Coast in March. Sunderland are set to appoint former Preston North End boss Arsenal as their new manager, following a breakdown in talks with Roy Keane, who said, "Over my dead body will I go to that club." So that's the story and everything we have on the show today. I will say massive thank you to John Gafar for putting £4.49 shillings in my account. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate. And God bless you. Everyone else who joined in, most especially Avino Perucci. Thank you very much. How are you doing? It's been a while. We need to hook up, but I know you're very busy. Come on, you got our back. I know you're very, very busy. Having said that, thank you also to Timothy Daimbo, who sent us a message on WhatsApp, and to every other person who joined in on the show today. It's been a wonderful time on the show. It's 9:59 already on the clock. It's time for me to step out of the studio. Let's do this again next week, Monday. I'm still around. I'm not traveling yet. But until then, if you're on Android, please do well to download our mobile application. It is Elevated TV Radio. If you're on YouTube and you've not subscribed to our channel, what are you waiting for? Please do well to subscribe to our channel. Click on the notification button. And also, please, I beg of you, whatever it is, watch our content and comment on it. Share it amongst your friends. Help us to grow. God bless you and have for yourself a wonderful and an amazing weekend. I love you guys. Bye-bye.